Lately, I've been reading Ego is the Enemy by Ryan Holiday, and in that book, at one part, he goes over how passion is nothing more than impulsive motivation and a burden of feelings that actually inhibit your work and success. Even though in my videos I mentioned that you should find your passion and work towards it, I never really associated myself as somebody who is passionate. Yes, I like working on these YouTube videos, but I was never passionate about them. I guess I just misunderstood what passion is and thought to myself that if I like something and work towards it, it automatically becomes a passion. Well, I was wrong. Liking something and being passionate about it are two different things. I rarely motivate myself to sit down and write the script or film the footage, for example, but I know that these things have to be done in order that I could achieve my set goals. Ryan Holiday is right. Everybody talks about passion and how it's the ultimate source of energy. But as we all know, motivation comes and goes, and when you actually face failure and adversity, the things that will keep you going are discipline, good work ethic, and calculated decisions which are not driven by feelings. In this video, based on my experience, I'll tell you how to maximize your potential in your work without the burden of passion and how to use reason to push yourself towards achieving success. For the last 6 months, I've been consistently uploading one video per week on my channel, which is something I'm really proud of, considering that I haven't always had this work ethic. Of course, to some of you this seems not that much, but before these 6 months, I didn't even have a second job, like I do now as a driver in a pizzeria, and I still couldn't somehow upload more than one video per month, and let me tell you why. I've always heard that you need to find your passion in life, and as a result, whenever I would sit down to create one of these videos, I would search for that motivation, for that feeling, and a moment of inspiration. Well, these impulsive moments rarely ever come, and I knew that I needed to create a better system in order to actually begin my work and get it done. I found refuge in discipline. It's not that I hate doing these videos and have to force myself to every day sit down and create, but it's that I've been lazy and procrastinated my whole life, and discipline taught me that the only way I can get satisfaction and fulfillment is by doing the work and finishing it. Of course, there is difference between doing something you hate and doing something you don't like in order to achieve something bigger. You must like something about your work in order to keep going, because if you hate every part of it, then even discipline won't get you through it and you might damage your mental health along the way. For me, I don't always like writing the script or filming the footage, but I always enjoy the editing process, and in order for me to get to it, I have to get through those things which I don't always necessarily enjoy. But I can tell you how to enjoy these not so fun parts of your work. Just start. I know everybody says this, but it's really true. Once I sit down and write the title and start writing the intro of my new video, everything just falls into its place and it becomes effortless. I'm not saying that it becomes easy, but I just get into this state where I'm no longer controlled by anxiety of how much work I have to do. Sometimes it's daunting when you see a white page, it's daunting when you see your to-do list, it's daunting when you look at a pile of unwashed dishes in your sink, but if you just go through those moments of initial resistance, you may find yourself somewhat enjoying the tasks that seemed so hard to do before. Even for something creative like writing the script, I thought that I needed to be inspired. But these words that you're hearing right now came from me sitting down with zero motivation and just starting to write. Discipline is the practice of this sitting down and just starting to work, and of course continuing to work. But how do we use discipline long term? By practicing this fight between yourself and initial resistance over and over, we create a routine, and to keep this routine, we need consistency. Discipline is the main foundation of creating meaningful and good work, as you don't just quit doing something because you suddenly find it difficult and challenging. But when you just start practicing discipline, of course it is hard, and for me, it's still hard. But when you get the routine going of just starting to do the work, it creates consistency in your life, and nowadays I usually just sit down to do my work out of this trained consistency and never because I feel passionate or that motivated. The feelings of motivation and fulfillment usually come from when you are in the state of doing the work and you actually do some progress. Being passionate is more often having strong intentions. You know what you want and when you want it, but only with real work, failure, and the struggle you can get to your desired outcome. You may feel passionate about becoming an author, and you may lose yourself in the fantasy of being one, but when the morning comes and you have to actually sit down and write those words, you get discouraged because you no longer feel the inspiration or the motivation to get up and write. You live with intentions, but no progress or results. That's why getting up regardless of how you feel trains your mind, discipline, routine, and consistency of putting in the work instead putting in the thought of work. If you want to develop a good work ethic and create something substantial, you have to stop aiming for perfection. In my opinion, when you aim for perfection, your work actually suffers as you begin to come up with more excuses like, well, I didn't get a good sleep tonight, so I'll start writing the script tomorrow when I'm well rested, or I should wait until nighttime to get this specific footage, and so on. While it is normal to want your work to be as best as it possibly can be, it's impossible for it to be perfect, and when you begin to micromanage yourself, you forget the big picture and lose yourself in your ego of what something would be instead of how it will be. Remember that only with patience can you achieve the best possible result of your work, and know that it will be nowhere near to perfect. I talked about patience on this channel before, but it's really the one thing that will make your discipline and ego in check. As a young guy, I always wished for success to come as soon as possible. I want it to come tomorrow or next week, but I always have to remind myself of patience, and the thought of it humbles my ego and keeps me realistically grounded, at least for a while. Patience is something that provides your work with longevity in the present moment. When you sit down to work, patience reminds you that in the distant future, you could achieve your set goals if you put in the work now, regardless of how you feel, while passion gives you a boost in this moment, but as soon as adversity and the thought of achieving something in the distant future comes along, the passion fades out and you are left with disappointment and are discouraged to continue your work. These were my 5 pieces of advice on how to be more productive in your selected area of work. Remember this routine the next time you have to get work done. When you have the intention to work and you don't really feel like it, you don't really feel productive, and you don't think that you're gonna create something worthwhile, just remember about the long term and patience. These things require discipline of just starting out, and the rest just happens by itself. As Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius once said, begin. To begin is half the work. Let have still remain, again, begin this, and thou wilt have finished. Once you have successfully completed that one specific day's work, just remind yourself that you will have to do this over and over, and this creates consistency, and you learn about it, and you also just don't strive for perfection and make excuses, and you actually do the work instead of just hoping for the best circumstances to do your work. Thank you so much for watching this video, and if you enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe for more weekly self-improvement content. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and if you want, you can support this channel on Patreon and PayPal, and all the links to all the social medias and support pages are gonna be in the description. Thank you again for watching this video. I really appreciate everyone's help, and stay productive and stay on your journey.
Thank you.